So you want to get into this profession as security. We'll go over a few steps in the process I've came up with for starting your job as and your career potentially as security. So the first step is the evaluation. I want you to take some time to genuinely think, what is it about this job that you prefer over other jobs? If you're looking at this as, I'm just going to do this job just to make money, which is a good reason. I mean, that's why we all work, to make money.
Are you serious?
Not volunteer and not get paid. So, but you should take this job seriously. It's a dangerous job, and it's an important job where you're providing services in some instances where you have to protect people and property. And this is an important task that you have to take in this career. So you need to be mentally ready to take on this challenge. Some good things to think about is, what is your goal with this career? If it is to genuinely just make money, well, that's fine. As long as you take the job seriously and you do it for a few months and make a little bit of money, then there you go, you've done a great job. If your goal is to use this as a stepping stone, then I want you to think about what this particular site is going to be like and how this site is going to give you the skills that you need for your future. If you're planning to do this as a career, then pick a site and a company that is reputable. Some reputable companies would be some of the bigger ones. You're going to have sites, you're going to have growth, and you're at least going to have, maybe 5-10 years down the road, more and more openings and more growth within the company. That doesn't mean all companies are the same. Local companies are a good place to start if you want to make good money. They usually pay more, and it's usually more important to your communities. With that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean that local companies are the best. You may want to be in a big company. You may want to move up. You may want to explore some of the management and executive opportunities down the road within a large-scale company, which is completely fine. If you're not interested in that, maybe you want to stay with a local company. There may not be room for growth, but there at least will be good pay and potentially good benefits. So now that you've evaluated and decided what your goals with this profession is, the next thing to do is apply. Make yourself a good resume. If you have experience in a similar career, similar profession, or even prior experience as security, make sure to note that. If you don't have any, that's fine. One thing to note is different sites and different jobs within this field want different things. Some sites are really strict and they want people that have prior experience in security and law enforcement, and maybe even college degrees. Some sites only require a diploma. It all depends on what you're doing. It also is different based upon what you're doing there. If you're an armed guard and you're going to be carrying a firearm, well, then obviously you need to have different qualifications. Usually it's site dependent, but it's not with some companies. Some companies may just have requirements that you have to meet, otherwise you can't be a part of the company. So it really just depends on all the information you can find about the job. But my recommendation is apply to as many sites as you can, as close as you can to your area, and one may call you back, one may not. That's the thing with any job. If you're looking for a job, you're gonna have to apply to some places, go for interviews, and figure out the best option for you. You know, at the end of the day, this is a job, and you should look at it like such. So the interview process is going to be like any other job interview. You're going to go there, you want to look nice and professional. Wear a nice button-up shirt with a tie. You know, do your hair nice. And make sure that you look presentable. If you don't look presentable, don't even show up.
Do me a favor, shut the fuck up.
When you're showing up to an interview, make sure you're early. Early is on time. If your interview is at 4, you want to be there at 3:45. So be 15 minutes early. Early is on time. If you're on time at 4 p.m., you're late. You will not get that job. And if your interviewer is not on time, then that's fine. If you have to wait, you have to wait. If you don't want to continue with the interview because your interviewer is late, that's your choice. And that's fine. Maybe you don't like that. I've had interviews in my life that I've went to that the interviewer was late and I still did the interview. If you want to leave when the employer is not there, do it. Nobody's going to blame you. Usually, with bigger companies, they will make sure that you get an interview as quickly as you can, and they'll make it work. A lot of them do online interviews. But yeah, I mean, interviews are just like any other job. They may ask you questions. They may ask you questions that you've never been asked before. Answer them as truthfully and as honestly as you can, and you're guaranteed to get a job. So once you've picked a site and a job that you personally feel like you want to pursue, the next thing to do is figure it out. Make sure it works for you. When you are going there for your training with the company, you want to make sure you're doing a personal evaluation of the company and of the site. If the company doesn't have good training and doesn't have good procedures and good rules for the site and doesn't have good policies, then you're going to want to maybe look into another company. And another thing to think about too is if you go to a site and the site doesn't work for you, it's too far away, it's too dangerous for you, you can always look for a different site. But do keep in mind when you're first starting in this career and you figure out the job you want to do, that you look into it and you make sure it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, don't put yourself through it. If it's a 12-hour shift and you don't like 12-hour shifts, don't do it. If it's an 8-hour shift and you don't like 8-hour shifts, don't do it. Generally speaking, companies will try to start you with certain things and over time try to layer more onto you. Usually bigger companies do that. Local companies, maybe not as much, but bigger companies, they will try to eventually help you get higher up and give you more hours. And that is a personal choice you have to make. Do you want to work 2 8-hour shifts? Do you want to work a 12 and an 8-hour shift? Do you want to do overtime? Do you want to take a promotion to a supervisor? It's up to you. So once you've been working with a company for long enough and you've gotten opportunities for promotions, the next step in your process is to think about what promotions work for you. Usually site supervisors, they're mainly just filling in shifts. Yeah, you'll train people, you'll maybe get a promotion to a lieutenant or whatever, and you'll get all these benefits. But the majority of time with bigger companies, when you're taking a promotion to a site supervisor, you're the shift cover. So if you don't like that site and you don't like covered shifts, don't take it. That is my personal advice on the topic. Armed and unarmed guards are two separate categories of security. Usually when a site wants an armed guard, that means that the danger of that site is higher than a situation where they want an unarmed guard. That's the usual case. That's why they need somebody there with a firearm. It would make sense. If you're going to become an armed guard, you need to realize you're going to have to do more training. You will get paid more, but it's going to be more dangerous. Those are the three things to keep in mind. Usually, to become a guard, you need to go through a training to get a guard card. And to get a guard card, it's state dependent. So in my state, you don't have to, but in other states, your company may pay for you to get a guard card. That's why I recommend that you apply to places and ask them if they can pay for your training to get a guard card. A guard card certification is something you're going to want to take too. It's not difficult. It's not great training. It's usually the bare minimum you need. I recommend for trainings in the future that you look into taking your own trainings. Maybe take trainings in martial arts, maybe take trainings in different certifications. All these things you do are going to help you down the line, not only to be more useful on your job, but to get more pay and to be more intelligent with different topics in security. Because again, this is a job, this is a career. So another thing to keep in mind too as well is this job you want to be able to speak with people. If you're an introverted person, this job's not for you. If you're a person that can speak to people and that can tactically assess a situation and speak with people in a way that you get what you need to get out of them without crossing boundaries of physical force and excessive verbal force as well, then this is another way to do good in this field. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to being with a good company. If you're with a good company and you like the company and they care about you, you're going to do good. You're going to do great in this field. You're going to feel satisfied. But obviously, make sure, above all, you know your worth. That is the most important thing to think about in security. Well, that's all I have for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay classy. And I'll see you around.